Hello everyone, once again, greetings to you all and welcome to my channel. This is of course Mbona IT Training, and today we have a very interesting topic that we are going to be talking about. In today's video, we are going to be talking about how to choose a cybersecurity specialization. Of course, yes, you got me right, how to choose a cybersecurity specialization. But before we go on, I would like to use this popular verbiage or colloquial expression: don't be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Yes, don't be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Now, before we even begin talking about how to go about choosing a specialization in cybersecurity, I would like first of all for us to write this in our spirit that cybersecurity, or I want us to see cybersecurity as an interconnected system. Of course, cybersecurity is an interconnected system, and we are going to see the reason why I say cybersecurity is an interconnected system, because most cases or most of the times when we are talking about cybersecurity, people who have no idea about what cybersecurity is, they might think that it is just like a course of specialization. For example, you go to the university and you decide to say, okay, I'm going to specialize in English language, or I'm going to specialize in English literature, and that is it. But again, they fail to understand that cybersecurity itself is a whole system, or it is an interconnected system. And now let's just look at some of those elements of the interconnectedness of what cybersecurity is. Number one, we are going to be talking about networking concept, and of course, nobody can really deny that cybersecurity is heavily built on the concept of networking. So when I'm talking about the concept of network here, I'm simply trying to talk about those pillars that actually help the internet or our devices to be able to talk to one another. And so without this interconnectedness, or what we call networking concepts, it will be absolutely very difficult for the internet or the cyberspace to be able to work as a whole, a globe. Let me use the word globe in parentheses. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about in the whole concept of interconnectedness of the cyber ecosystem is what we call network devices and their operation. And of course, anybody that wants to do cybersecurity must, or at one point, get some understanding on how the internet actually works. So again, the internet or the cyberspace actually works based on some devices that are working behind the scene to be able to permit computers to be able to talk to one another, to be able to permit maybe networking or traffic to leave one local area network to the other. So in this case, therefore, we are talking about network devices, which include but are not limited to switches, which are of course routers. We can talk about firewalls, we can talk about modem, and just to name a few. These devices are very much important because they are at the heart of the cybersecurity ecosystem. So the next thing I'm going to talk about within the interconnectedness of the cybersecurity ecosystem is what we call the operating systems. And of course, operating system is just basically what we call computers, because usually when we talk about Windows computer or Linux computers, we are not just talking about the physical frame that actually we see, but we are talking about that mechanism, that architecture, that particular the heart of what makes the hardware and the software to be able to interact together. So we realize that again, it is practically impossible for us to talk about cybersecurity, talk about a cyber ecosystem, if we do not have any device like maybe an operating system with which we can communicate or send messages or information from one end to the other. So again, that is why you see at one point in your studies, trying to understand how computers work or understanding the different architectures of the different operating system might also be very important. So the next thing we are going to be talking about is what I call policies, regulation, compliances, just to name a few. And the cybersecurity again is governed by a lot of laws, is governed by a lot of compliances. So cybersecurity again is just a whole huge structure that is subdivided and governed by policies, regulations, compliance, and sometimes it might be affected depending on your geographical location. So if you are trying to choose a specialization, then you also need to have at least a glimpse of this other side of cybersecurity, because it might end up that this is the side of cybersecurity that you actually want to be. Now we are going to talk about cloud technology. Cloud technology simply refers to a new trend that has actually evolved nowadays. And of course, when we are talking about cloud technology, we are not talking about a technology that exempts us from using maybe some of the things I just named above, such as the networks, such as servers, such as routers, switches, and all the like. Again, all these technologies are still in use, but the issue here is that the responsibility to manage all these technologies are no longer handled by the end user, because there is a cloud service provider that actually takes care of all this information at their back end. So again, if you want to aspire to do cybersecurity, it is very important for you to be able to understand all these concepts, because having a good understanding of these concepts will actually help you to make a decision at the end of the day. Now let us talk about bootcamps. And the question is, are bootcamps a reality or are they deceptions? Now, first of all, there are so many ways for you to get knowledge nowadays if you want to begin a career in cybersecurity. And one of those areas or one of those places is called the bootcamps. And I would say that there is no one way, first of all, to begin a career in cybersecurity. And there's no one way for you to get knowledge as far as cybersecurity is concerned. But the unfortunate thing we are living today is that we have so many bootcamps out there, and each bootcamp that you see, they will tell you that they are out to teach cybersecurity. And of course, we do not deny the fact that they are teaching cybersecurity, but the problem is, what precisely are they teaching in cybersecurity that you need? The issue is not that they are not teaching well. Of course, some of them they teach very, very well. But the question is, you, the consumer, or you struggling to get into cybersecurity, what do you need? Are these bootcamps offering just what you need, or are these bootcamps offering just what they want you to know? And therefore, this takes us to our next point to say most bootcamps always say courses that they want you to know. And that is just the basic truth. If, for example, I'm teaching Linux in my bootcamp, then I will make you to understand that cybersecurity is Linux. And I know fully well that you don't understand what Linux is all about. You don't even understand where you are going to. Just the fact that you stumbled upon a bootcamp or you stumbled upon me, I will always try to convince you to sell you what I have. That is just the realities of what is happening in most of our bootcamps nowadays. When you fall in a bootcamp, and the bootcamp, they will say, okay, yes, since you came across us, we can teach you cybersecurity. We are going to lead you. We are going to hold your hand. We are the #1 provider of cybersecurity training on the planet Earth, and so on. So that is the propaganda that you will get. And sometimes you go over their website, you read a few testimonies, you are excited without even knowing where you are going to, and you dive yourself into it, and few months or few months down the line, you realize that, of course, what they are offering you is not really what you really wanted to do, or maybe you are not understanding what they are teaching. Maybe they are too fast and you cannot keep up with the pace, and before you realize it, you are dropped out from the bootcamp and you become frustrated and discouraged. The next thing we are going to talk about here is that bootcamps do not do a need or capacity assessment. And of course, remember I said previously that bootcamps always say what they have. They only tell you, they only propose you what they actually have, not actually what you need. And again, one of the major points here is that most bootcamps do not do what they call a need or a capacity assessment. The fact that you came across them and you told them that you want to do cybersecurity, they will assume that you want to do cybersecurity and you opted to do cybersecurity. It doesn't matter whether you are a US citizen or if after your training you'll be able to get a job or not. That is not their business. It doesn't matter if truly you really are ready for the cybersecurity or not. That is not their business. Their problem is, since you opted that you want to do cybersecurity, then they will sell you what they have, because at the end of the day, they have one motive: just to make money. And once they make the money in exchange of the knowledge, they don't care about what you do with the knowledge, whether you ever use the knowledge and get employment after that or not. That is not their business. And of course, we have to understand that sometimes people may have zeal to do cybersecurity, but at the end of the day, they may not, or they might be hindered by some circumstances that even if they finish the training, it might be difficult for them to get a job. For example, most cybersecurity jobs require that you have a level of background, or you pass a background check, or you have a particular clearance. And sometimes you are not even a citizen, or some jobs require for you to be a citizen. And once you say, some people may not even know that that is just the whole obstruction that is going to be their way, and they go very well with assignment. They go and waste their money, their time, their resources, and they begin to take classes, and at the end of it all, they realize that, of course, in terms of background, they cannot get a job because maybe they have one felony or one thing that is preventing them, or maybe most of the jobs for which they went in for training will necessitate that they become a US citizen, or it may require them for them to have maybe a green card at the minimum for them to be able to get a job. But all this capacity assessment were never taken into consideration in the beginning when they went to a boot camp. But all is that when they went to a boot camp, they were just received there because they just wanted to sell to them what actually they had to sell. So again, we have to understand, especially those that are struggling to get in the industry, that most boot camps that are out there are out to make money. They are business making institutions, of course. It doesn't matter whether they declare themselves as non-profit organization or what, but from experience, I am just going to tell you the truth, which means that if you are going there thinking that you are going to meet good Samaritans, please think twice, because at the end of the day, all what they need is, hey, give us the cash, and then we are going to exchange the knowledge that we have acquired over the years, or we have copied over the internet, and we are going to give you the knowledge. So whatever you do after you have paid us our money with the knowledge that we give you in exchange, that is none of our business. So again, you need to be very, very careful when you are trying to choose even a boot camp as a way for you to get knowledge, or for you to be able to start your career in cybersecurity. Please remember, this is not, I am not against any bootcamp. Of course, I love bootcamps, and there will be a video where we shall be talking about bootcamps and actually their advantages over other means of getting knowledge to begin a career in cybersecurity. Having said what we have spoken, the question is, how therefore do I specialize in cybersecurity? And in this section, we are going to be attempting to answer that, and we are going to be giving you my expertise, suggestion, and advice on how you should begin your specialization, or how you should choose your specialization. And the first path for you is, one, you need to learn the basics, or you need to know the main pillars or the architecture of what cybersecurity is all about. Just like I always tell people that the best way for you to be able to learn a language is to know about the linguistic construct of that language. The best way for you to learn about an operating system is to be able to learn about the architecture of that particular operating system. So if we have come to agree that cybersecurity is a whole ecosystem, then I think the best place for you to start your specialization is get a generalized knowledge, understand how things work in the industry. By the moment you begin to understand how things work in the industry, that is going to narrow down your gap, that is going to narrow down your frustration, and therefore it will help you to be able to choose an effective discipline that will meet your need. The next thing we are going to be talking about is understand each discipline. And of course, each discipline in cybersecurity is different, even though they are interconnected. But there are some disciplines that are technical, there are some disciplines that are less technical. And of course, don't just assume that because you saw your friend actually went and did a particular discipline and got a job, you too must just dive in there and say, okay, that is the discipline that I have to do because my friend did the discipline and had a job. But you have to understand that your friend and yourself, you guys have two different capability and capacity. So again, try to understand each discipline per se. If you understand each discipline, then it will help you to be able to specialize if you want to choose the technical path or you want to choose the path that is less technical. That is going to be up to your personal decision. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is know yourself. So when I say know yourself, what am I trying to say here? Many people at times, they usually want to use other people's success to measure themselves. Oh, this person did Linux and he got a job in, and now he's called a cybersecurity pro. And so you are just so excited because you are using other people's testimony, or you are using other people's success to measure your own success. But the truth is that each and every one of us, we know ourselves. There are people that from the first day, even they were born, you can see that they have the ability, or they are very technical. They can use their hands, they can repair a lot of things and all the like. So again, this already tells you that this person has that technical drive in him or her, that it doesn't matter any discipline that the person finds himself, as far as it is technical, that person is going to succeed. So if you already understand yourself as a person, or if you have discovered your purpose, let me use that word in parentheses, then you will not be struggling as far as identifying yourself using other people's success. There are people, they know that they cannot withstand writing a policy for maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour. There are people that they can sit on the Linux operating system and play with the system for the whole day. They can make mistakes, but they will not be discouraged. There are some people that immediately they see a screen with a lot of commands scrolling down, they already mentally they have shut themselves out already from the system. They will tell you, oh, Linux is not for me, cybersecurity is not for me. So if you see somebody who is technically inclined, who did Linux operating system and got a job as is working as a system admin, that doesn't mean that you just have to go and give yourself into the same path without even knowing your capacity. My experience has always proven that in a class where you find 10 people go in to do Linux operating system, especially those that are seeking for jobs, out of 10 students that begin a class or a training on Linux operating system, just 2 or 3 of them might end up finishing the class. The remaining one, before they start getting deeper into some of the things that they need to know as a system administrator, then they have really disqualified themselves before the classes are over. So please know yourself and know your capacity. And if you have been told that you need to be technical before you can actually make the money or you can succeed in cybersecurity, I have come to tell you that you do not need to be technical in order for you to be cyber. So the next thing we are going to be looking on our list that may help you for your specialization is, are you teachable? Because a lot of people are not really teachable. Now, for example, A might have gone to school, may have gone to a boot camp, and A had a teachable spirit. And when they taught A in school, A will come back and spend a lot of time to do research, and at the end of the day, A is going to succeed. Now, because A succeeded and you did not know actually what and how A succeeded, don't just assume that is because A went to a technique or went to a boot camp or went to a particular training center that A succeeded. It might just be that A had a teachable spirit, that after classes, Mr. A is going to spend time to read and to do more research. And if you're not the type of person with a teachable spirit, then I'm afraid to tell you that cybersecurity may not be for you. Why? Because cybersecurity evolves every day and it changes every day. So if you have to be in cybersecurity, then you must have a teachable spirit and you must always learn. Remember that for you to be a teacher, you must have once been a student. That is just the golden rule. And the last point we are going to discuss here is know or begin your cybersecurity career with your best feet. So what do I mean by that? Of course, I haven't gone through the discipline and haven't gone through the general concept of what cybersecurity is all about. If you like, for example, technical stuff, if you want to be an ethical hacker, and of course, you are not too comfortable with using the command line, the best advice would be start with soft skills and you begin to gain the soft skills that is needed. And over time, you are going to build up the momentum that it takes to be an ethical hacker. Sometimes I've seen a lot of people with a lot of zeal. I want to be an ethical hacker. But by the moment you start talking about Linux operating system, they say, no, I will change my mind. I think I have to go to AWS. I have to go to cloud. When you go to cloud and they see Linux, when they are launching their EC2 instance, they say, no, I've changed my mind. I need to go and do risk management framework. So again, it is always good for you to start with your best fit. Of course, it is not impossible. Everything is possible if only you think about possibility. And of course, this was just some of my contribution, and I hope that you were actually blessed or you learned something with the teaching on this video. And of course, if you love this video, please just go and give me a thumbs up, or you can actually subscribe so that next time when I upload new videos, you'll be the first person to get them. And if you love the videos and you want to contact me, my contact information will be below the video, or you can simply go to my website at www.teambuna.com and you can use the contact page and leave me a message and I will get back to you. See you then, and I wish you more success in your cybersecurity endeavor.